Is it okay for you to ask for feedback after an audition when you get an email or a message that says you have been rejected or that we are not going to cast you? This is a question I get quite often, and I wanted to answer it in a way that you can understand what is happening on both sides of the table, why it might be helpful, why it might not be helpful, and then ultimately what my personal opinion is and what my personal response is when I say this to people that ask me, especially my clients and my students. When you go to an audition, and this is in the professional world or even in the world of community theater, you're doing this as a job interview, right? That's something that we often forget, or that we don't look at our career in that limelight. It's an interview. That's what an audition is. It's a way for you to show up and to showcase your skills, show your resume, show your experience, and then they get to decide if you are right for that project or that job or that show, whatever it may be. But it is an interview. And most of the time, it really has nothing to do with you personally. So I do understand that asking for feedback is something that would be helpful for all of us. As an actress and a performer myself, yes, I would love to know why somebody decided not to cast me. The best part about getting an email or a message from a company or a casting director or director that says, no, thank you, you do have that immediate, like closing the box, you have the answer, whether or not you can let go of that thought or that hope or that dream. And so getting something that says, no, thank you, is a good way to kind of close that door so that you can go and walk through the next ones. That doesn't happen quite often in our industry, to be honest with you. I've probably done hundreds of auditions, submissions, tape requests, callbacks, even the last couple of months. And I have heard from none of them a no. Actually, I take that back. I got a no message from one of them, and it was a feature film on camera, so it wasn't even musical theater. That was the one that I got from a casting director, which was so lovely. But would I have asked for feedback after that? Absolutely not. I would never ask for feedback as a professional in this industry. The only situation that I would ask for any type of feedback is if it was somebody that I had some personal connection to, or if I could ask my agent to reach out to that casting director if they had a relationship with them and just say, hey, what can I work on? But if it was me and I got an actual email or an actual message that said, thank you, we're not accepting you into this show, I would not email back and ask for feedback. And here's why. Once you graduate college, if you do go to college for theater or acting or musical theater or dance, once you leave the training world, then you're in the professional world. Even if you're doing community theater, you're not really paying for it. So if this is an actual job where you're not getting paid maybe, or you're getting a stipend, or you're getting an actual paycheck, it is not the responsibility of the person, of the casting director, of the director, of the choreographer to tell you what you could improve on. If that happens in your situation, that is absolutely fantastic. But I would not encourage you to ask for feedback. They have a job to do. And sometimes casting directors are not going to be the best person to give you feedback because, one, they don't have the time. 2, maybe they don't have the way to articulate it. 3, maybe they really did like you and the director just didn't like you. They're not going to tell you that. Also, what if you ask for feedback and they tell you something that you don't agree with? Or they tell you something that is completely out of your control, like you were too tall, you didn't have long hair, you didn't fit in the puzzle piece, you didn't have enough experience, or you were union and we didn't have enough equity contracts to give one to you. We had to use them for someone else. All of those things are out of your control. 100,000% out of your control. And most of the time, if you did ask for feedback and they did say something to you, they're probably not going to be honest with you. And there's a reason why. If someone asks me for feedback, if I'm directing a show and it's outside of the academic training area, I would probably ask them to assess what they did. And I would say, assess what you did and improve on what you feel like didn't go as well. or that you didn't feel as confident on. Because if I tell you that I didn't cast you for something you cannot control, that does not benefit you at all. It will probably make you really angry and frustrated. What if you just don't fit in the costumes and they're renting the costumes and they do not have the budget to change or amend those costumes? What if someone else came along and it was down to you and one other person and they just literally vibed with the other person on a different personal level? You can't control that. And then what are you going to do? Change who you are? So asking for feedback can lead you down this rabbit's hole of something that is not going to benefit you in the long run. Does it make you look unprofessional when you ask for feedback? I get that question quite a lot. And in most situations, again, this is not like every situation is the same, right? There are these gray areas, these middle areas in theater, depending upon your specific situation. But in general, it really does make you look unprofessional when you ask for feedback, because that's not their job. They're not there to tell you what you need to train on. You need to get better at dancing. You need to get better at reading sides quickly, at cold reads. Your vocal capabilities just aren't where they should be for this. Like, that is not their job. That is our job and the job of the professionals that we coach and work with. So that would be the job of going into your voice teacher and singing the song in the audition cut and saying, what can I work on? Or going in and working with your acting coach. Or I have a lot of people that come with me and we work career coaching the entire package of what you're doing and what decisions you're making and where you're auditioning and where you're submitting. And we sit down together and we talk through, what did you do? What response did you get in the moment? How did you feel? And then we do a debrief after every audition. This is also why it's super important for you to track your auditions. If you want to get my audition tracker, I'll put it in the description box down below and you can see what mine is. It's a Google Doc, Google spreadsheet. You can get your own copy, make it, start using it, amend it, do whatever you want, but it may be a great starting grounds for you. So I'll put that in the description box below. Sometimes the audition, the reason why we didn't get cast is something that maybe we're not even ready to hear yet. Maybe we're not ready to hear that casting director, that team didn't see us as that role for whatever reason. And you can disagree with them, right? You can think you're perfect for that role, but maybe they looked at you and they thought, in our vision, in our project, in our concept for this production of this show, you just weren't the right fit for it. You weren't right for that role in our eyes. And telling us that may not be beneficial to us, because then we're questioning, what we're doing and where we lie in the industry. And it just takes you down a rabbit hole that is not going to be beneficial or helpful for you in the long run. I want to also encourage you to take out the word rejection. Okay, so I get a lot of people that message me and they're like, I was rejected from this audition. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What can I improve on? But it's always the word rejection. I'm going to encourage you to stop using that word. Like, replace it with anything that you want. If no is a better word for you, cool. But it's not that you were rejected from something. They just didn't give you the job for whatever reason. And that's something in this industry that every single time, if you either in your own mind or verbally or type it, whatever it may be, if you keep utilizing the word rejected, this is going to be a hard career for you, okay? That means that I was rejected like 100 times the past couple of months and not even knowing what my agent submitted me for. So I don't know, thousands of times. That is not a way to be productive, to be present, and to be somewhat positive about an industry that is so negative already just because we're being judged on our talent, which is hard in the first place. So replace the word rejection with something else, or just say, I didn't book this job. I didn't book that job. They sent me an email, or they sent me a message through EcoCast, or they told me in the room, or I got trimmed or cut. One of my clients brought that idea to my head. Every time a cut happens at an audition and you don't get passed on, she was like, I just use the word trim now. And I thought, I'm going to use that. So you didn't make the trim, right? To the next final call or the next reading or the next song. That's fine. But using the word rejection and that you were rejected by them, not helpful at all. Replace it with something else, or just leave that out and just say, didn't book that job. want to think about what I can do better next time. That is what you do instead of asking for feedback. Debrief, do your callback, your audition tracker, write it all out. And then it's your job, it's our job to analyze it and say, what can I improve on 1% next time? What can I do 1% better? If you need to go work with somebody, go work with somebody. If you need to do it on your own, do it on your own. Whatever that may be. That is more beneficial for you and more productive for you in the long run than asking for feedback every single time you get a rejection, every single time you get a no thank you email or message. That's going to help you in the long run in this career. I hope that was beneficial and helpful for you. If it was, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, follow for more musical theater tips, tutorials, how to navigate this career, and I'll be here to support you 100%. See you in the next video.